Hi, my name is Dan Hauptman, and I'm one of your instructional coaches in the Palmdale School District. We're going to be talking about how to issue behavior referrals to students inside of Infinite Campus. So just a couple things that you might need to know about behavior referrals. First of all, make sure you have details. Details are super important when it comes to documentation with students, and so we need to make sure that they are accurate. Make sure you note the date and the time of the incident. This is going to be vital information, and you'll see that as we go through the referral process. Behavior referrals go to the site administrators, and remember that we use that for further action. And the PLP contact log is for documentation, and I'll be showing both of those today. So understand that when we take a look at the PLP log, we want to use that for non-referral behavior. So for example, let's say we have a student who pushed another student after maybe a verbal back and forth. And then afterwards, both students, they apologize, shook hands, and that was it. You contact the parents and you let them know, hey, just want to let you know this happened. That's a PLP log. We want to notate that when that happened and who the students might have been, and we'll talk about the privacy part of it. But we want to make sure that we put that in the PLP log. That's for documentation. Now, in example number 2, if the students repeatedly push each other and they're trying to coax each other into a fight, and you have to remove the student from whatever area they're in into the office, that would be a behavior referral. So PLP log is for documentation, and behavior referral is given to the site administrators for resolution. So when you're describing the details, instead of using names, make sure you're using initials. So for example, if you're using Snoopy Fido, you would use SP. On that note, let's take a look at how to write up a referral in Infinite Campus. Alright, so like everything we do, we're going to start off in ClassLink. So I'm going to come over here. I have all my ClassLink icons all organized in folders, so I keep mine in a PSD folder. It's a folder I created. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to click on the Infinite Campus button, and that will bring me straight into Infinite Campus. Now, when I go into Infinite Campus, it takes me straight into Campus Tools. Some of you may actually start off in Instruction. That looks like this, and that's fine too. There's many ways to get where we need to go in Infinite Campus, but I'm going to have us start off in Campus Tools. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is the PLP log. Now, the PLP log is the log where you can enter the documentation that you've been doing with your students. So if you've been making a phone call home, if you had a conference with a student because of behavior, you're going to do that under the PLP log. So the PLP log is under Student Information, PLP, General. And what you're going to find here is that you'll have to search for a student. So I'm going to search for one of our fake students, and I'm going to choose Astro. So Astro Fido is the one that we are going to be writing the PLP contact log about. So now I'm going to choose contact log now that I've searched for him. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a new contact. This was done today. Now remember, a few minutes ago I talked about being specific with time. That is important for documentation. So I'm going to say that I had this contact with Mr. Fido at 9:45 a.m. It was a telephone where I talked to Mr. Fido or Dad. You can be that specific. And then you're going to enter in the details of the conversation. So Astro Fido, notice the abbreviations that I'm using. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just a little bit so you can see what I'm writing. Was playing. So notice that there's a few mistakes that I had made, and as the red lines popped up, I went ahead and checked it. So make sure you check your grammar. I know it seems silly, but these are things that we look at as professionals, and we want to make sure that everything is spelled correctly, the grammar is good. Now that I've given the details, I can go ahead and save. And there is your documentation. You can see there's where we talked to Dad. And actually I can go in and I can fix my parenthesis. There we go. And you can go in and edit. So if you have something that you need to add that you forgot, you can do that just by clicking on it, add what you need to, and then resave. So now that we've done the contact log, let's say that there is a behavior event that causes us to have to now refer Mr. Fido to the office. So now I'm going to go under behavior and go to behavior referral. So this area looks a little bit different. I am going to hit the new button because we're going to do a new referral. Again, we need to be specific with all of the areas in red. So this is discipline. Now you can do an award, but in this case, we're going to do discipline. This happened today, and it happened at 10:15 a.m. Now, I just want to remind you that anything in red or with a red asterisk has to be filled out. Has to be filled out. Has to be filled out. And it needs to be accurate. So please make sure if you are filling this out after an incident or at some other time, that you fill in the correct information. Also, as I go through, you'll see areas that say unspecified. Do not use unspecified. When you talk about context and you talk about location, those are specific. So do not use unspecified. And we're going to say that he was throwing rocks. So that's the title. The context is when it happened. So we're not sure when it happened. It happened before class, during a passing period. Maybe you're switching classes, or in middle school, it's time to switch classes for their next period. It happened during lunch or recess, after class, other time during school hours, on the way to school, from school, some type of school-sponsored activity, a non-school-sponsored activity, and an other. And we'll talk about the ones that are sort of ambiguous, like other time and the other button, because there's a place that we can be specific. We're going to say during lunch and recess. Now, the context description is where you would write your other. So, for example, if I had said other time during school hours, the context description would have been during lineup after the whistle blew to end recess. So that's my context description. Now the location, again, it could be unspecified, and then we have all these different on-campus areas. So my class lines up in a different area, so I'm going to say other outside area, and then again, you can be specific in the location description at my lineup area. So now I'm specific. Now again, the details, we want to be specific with what we say, but we also want to make sure we don't use names. So Astrofido was throwing rocks at Snoopy Fido was witness to the event. Now, we talked about grammar. I can see I spelled rocks wrong, so I can go back and I can correct it. If there's any other information, this is a great time to put that in. We have a witness. We've got two people that rocks were thrown at, and we have the one person. So now it's time to add an event or participant. So here's all you get to choose from. Because we're doing a referral, you're going to choose referral to administrator from teacher. You're then going to search for the offender. So we'll go ahead and search for the Fidos, and we will pick Astrofido. He's the offender. And then here we can say that Astrofido was throwing rocks. We can add in the people that were getting their rocks thrown at them. So we've got Lassie Fido. She was the victim. If there was an injury, you would put that here. Small cut on her leg, sent to the nurse. And you're going to say medical service provided. So even if you send them to the school nurse, that's the medical service. And then here you can add Astrofido is throwing rocks at Lassie Fido. This part you're not going to worry about, the law referred or school related arrests. That'll be for your admin, for them to go in and take care of that. Let's add our other victim. Here is James Fido. He was also the victim, but there was no injury on him. So we're going to go ahead and take these off. And notice it just keeps bringing all that down, AP and James Fido. It keeps bringing everything down with it, so you don't have to sit there and keep rewriting it. And now let's bring in our witness. And Snoopy is our witness. SP witnessed the event. And he was the witness. Save that draft. Check everything that you want to make sure. You have to make sure you notify an admin, so I'll click on myself. I'm the admin as well. If you're not sure and you need to check, you're going to review the participants. As you can see here, everyone involved is under the same event ID, which is the way it's supposed to be. So if I want to review participants, I can click that review and I can see all the people that are in this event. If I need to edit anything, I'll click on the blue referral to administrator and I can show the details and I can add in there what it needs. Once I'm done, I can go ahead and close. And now I'm ready to submit to my admin. I can go ahead and submit. Once submitted, you no longer have the ability to change it. It is done. As usual, if you have any questions at all about behavior referral, feel free to reach out to one of your tech coaches. Have a great day.